Welcome, Abhinav. Uh, for the people who don't know Abhinav, let me introduce him. He's the CAE analyst at Rio Mode. He has more than 5 years of experience working in CAE industry, and he's working in everything related to computer aided engineering. So, an expertise whether we want to make a career in CAE, whether we want to know about technologies related to CAE, simulations, design, the whole ecosystem, and what are the things required from career scope to entrepreneurship, what is the industry ecosystem, everything is an expert. Abhinav is an expert of each and everything. So let's hear, Abhinav, can you tell us a little bit about your journey and about yourself?
Yes, sure. So I passed out in 2016 in
Yeah.
engineering, and I did mechanical engineering from my hometown only, that is KBB College of Engineering. It's situated in Satara. And after completing engineering, I took a gap of 1 year. I was preparing for GATE exams. So after doing GATE, I couldn't score well. I qualified the GATE exam, but I couldn't score well enough to get a good college. So I decided to opt for CAE engineering. So initially, I contacted with some of my friends who were already working in the field. So they told me do this and this. So I did some courses, and with my prerequisite, I got an internship opportunity initially in a small company. So after completing that internship, in that internship period, I did small projects, and after that, I went to Illinois Energy LLP. There I spent 2 years as a CAE analyst. There I worked on various domains like defense, railways, automotive systems, mainly in crash safety. So after that, the pandemic came, and during pandemic, there were layoffs going on, and I was looking for a good opportunity which can provide good salary. So that in that period, I didn't wanted to take a gap. So I switched to John Deere company, but the role wasn't for CAE engineer. It was for technical authoring. So 1 year I spent there, and when I came to know that market is opening up for CAE opportunities again, I switched to CAE again to Rio Mold. So now at Rio Mold, I'm working on mostly automotive domain in IP, seating system, etc.
That's great. So your journey has been a little bit more into the CA. And can you tell me, India is an exam-oriented country. Okay? From JEE exam to GATE exam, everyone gets into the exam, or PSC exam, very much exam-oriented country. A lot of people prepare for exams to get into the jobs or to get
Okay.
into the field, right? But skill-oriented is very less people are skill-oriented. At least in colleges, they are very less skill-oriented.
Okay.
So, as you mentioned, Abhinav, that you took a break of 1 year and then prepared for a GATE exam, right?
Yes,
So,
right.
in 2016, and after that, what happened generally is, suppose you didn't qualify the GATE or didn't want a good rank in that, you
Hmm.
switched to a skill because at the end, if you got into the MTech also, then also you will have to learn this skill. That's the gap
Yes.
the MTech students and BTech students are having. Well,
Okay.
when they're going into the MTech, I'm an aerospace engineer. When my friends went into the MTech, then what happened that they were expected that they should know the MATLAB, at least MATLAB. They should know
Okay.
that to write the codes, to do the programming. They should
Hmm.
know a little bit about CATIA, ANSYS, all those softwares. But people didn't have the exposure, right? Because they
Right.
didn't have the motivation. They didn't have the motivation that why should I work on that? The motivation will be to get a certificate just to show in the CV, but not to learn actually. There's no motivation in the college just to learn or to work on a project or what can be the future of this. What can be the 5 year or 10 year, where can I be? What can be the career exposure in this particular field? That's the lack. That's why we are doing a lot of sessions to
Okay.
explain to the students and professionals that
Hmm.
what are the opportunities, right? And how to be on the track. Like many
Mhm.
people, as soon as AI and ML are going on, many people who have learned ANSYS, they are saying that they want to make a career in data science or in machine learning.
Okay.
But they are not very much proficient in writing a code from scratch, writing a solver from scratch, right? Or they
Okay.
do not have the problem solving skill, but they are into more and more like jack of all, but master of
Hmm.
none, right?
Okay.
These kind of people are a lot of there, and due to the trend, they are shifting towards this. So that's why I
Mhm.
wanted to have a chat with you and to our audience as well. That as an industry person, you are working in the heavy industry, a core industry into mechanical
Hmm.
engineering, and the shift of mechanical engineering is going very down. let me tell you very frankly, most of the
Yes.
colleges in the north have stopped intakes in mechanical engineering because people are not opting that, right?
Yes,
So
correct.
they are thinking that after mechanical engineering there is no job,
Mm-hmm.
and if there is a job, they are just going to shift into the IT industry. And the IT industry is already full of computer science engineers, right? If every engineer will be just going out of the box and getting into the IT sector, there will be more supply, less demand, and the supply of less efficient people, supply of only the jack people, not the master people. So that will
Okay.
be the problem for the industry also, right? How many
Mm-hmm.
people will be hired? So that's
Yes.
why. And in the heavy industry, in the core industry, no one is talking about CNCs, no one is talking about operation research or the production engineering, power plant engineering, whether they don't know the basics. Most of the people in ISRO, I have talked about, ISRO takes an interview question, and in the interview question, they generally ask, what comes first, stress or strain? And many people from
Mm-hmm.
good colleges even don't have the answer to that. Like, that's the basic level of problem that's going on in the mechanics. Uh, so, as an industry person, how do you see this thing? Like, what's your experience behind this things?
Yes, even I have experienced such scenarios in our company or in my previous companies as well. I came across people who had good software knowledge, who had good tool knowledge, but they lacked with the basic fundamentals which are required in problem solving. Because I'm typically talking about CAE field. CAE is all about physics, means it revolves around physics and it is about problem solving. It is computer aided engineering, so it is a must to grasp all the basics. You should be proficient with the basics. So yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah, go
will
on,
be
go on.
talking in brief about it when
Ah,
we start, once I start sharing the PPT and all.
yes, definitely. So, yes, it's over to you, Abhinav. You can start sharing the PPT.
Okay.
Our one poll result has came. Out of 15, I think 11 people are into the CA engineer. And one more thing, I'm again going for the poll that how many of them are, as a starter, are they student or are they, a senior
Mhm.
level professional or mid level professional, and how many experience are there? So I will be running that poll, but in that meantime, you can start. I'm making you a presenter, and you can start your PPT and show the students your insights, what you have learned, and
Okay.
how you can tell the people what can be the career scope and what can be the entrepreneurship scope. Yeah, over to
Yes,
you.
sure, sure, sure. Is my screen visible to all of
Yes,
you?
yes, very much visible. Please, guys, raise your hands if you can see the screen of Abhinav. Raise your hand. I'm not seeing any hands raised. Yes, definitely seeing. Many people are raising their hands. That's great.
That's great. So, before we begin, the main topic of today's session is effective strategies to build a career in computer-aided engineering or CAE. So, imagine you have just passed out from college, from graduation, and you are now looking for a job. You decide to look for a job. So you don't randomly choose any company and right away start applying resumes in that company. You first need to understand the market scenario. If your skill sets that you learned in your engineering, do they align with the market requirements or the industry requirements? So for that case, you first need to understand the industry ecosystem, how it is structured. So first I will take you through industry ecosystem. Here you can see this infographic. So I will typically take here example of automotive industry because it is a globalized industry and many people are aware about it. So the automotive industry primarily revolves around three primary layers of suppliers, that is OEM or original equipment manufacturers, tier 1 and tier 2. Again, there is third level which we can call service providers or tier 3 companies. Now let me explain you each and everything in detail. So if you are wondering why I'm starting with this, you will understand it in later slides when we start to with our strategies later. So you will get the link why I'm explaining this to you. This will help us understand the market scenario. So no OEM. Let me first tell you OEM or original equipment manufacturers. They uh, manufacture a product inside or they assemble the product inside their facility and they launch it or they sell it. So no OEM in the world, no any OEM manufactures the whole product or say for example whole car in their facility. they will outsource some of the sub-components to tier 1 or tier 2 suppliers. Say for example, there is one OEM called Ford. So Ford will initially design and manufacture some core component in vehicle like engine assembly or powertrain, and they will outsource other remaining parts from tier 1 and tier 2 like door trims, bumper, wheels, or dashboard of the car. So they will outsource these parts. So why do they outsource? That point I will come later. But so tier 1 again, when they manufacture a door trim, we will take an example of door trim. So when they manufacture a door trim, they will again outsource some of the parts like door seal or glass shield from tier 2 suppliers. And recent years, means in some few years ago, OEMs and tier 1 companies, they used to outsource only essential tasks like logistics, planning, manpower, or management. But very recently, OEMs have even started outsourcing design services, even R&D and engineering services. So again, tier 1 company, when they are manufacturing their door, they need to know if their door will withstand so and so amount of loads, whether it will perform well in the physical test. So for that purpose, they need to validate their design. So again, they will outsource their design or CAE services to tier 2 companies or service provider companies. So here tier 2 and service provider, as you can see, they have a good opportunity to provide their expertise, provide their support, engineering support to tier 1 and OEM companies. So now that we have, I hope you have understood this tree, this pyramid about how the industry operates from supplier point of view. So I would like to ask you if anyone in the session, any guesses that do you have any idea why do companies outsource? Why OEMs or tier 1s outsource their services? Why don't they do it in-house? Any guesses?
Guys, be interactive. Open your video and answer the questions now. It will be more engaging and interactive so that you can learn more.
Hello, I'm Narayan. I'm audible.
Yes.
Yeah. So the reason why the companies are outsourcing from tier 1 is like they can save more time than in the R&D itself. Like for example, for considering manufacturing all the components, instead of they will focus on any particular thing which is related to company specific. Other things they may outside from OEMs. Sorry, like tier 1 companies. Even though from their outsourcing, they will do some specific R&D or they have some specific request to that tier 1 company. So based on their request, the tier 1 company will provide. So it basically saves the cost of the R&D, also the time consuming also.
Yes, correct. You have answered it correct. So there are basically three major reasons why companies are outsourcing. So the first is it provides access to a global talent pool. Say, for example, a businessman in India wants to set up his plant about on EV manufacturing, EV electric vehicles. So he will all set up and plant and all, but he lacks the expertise or the manpower expertise in assembly line. So he will search all over the world with his contacts or any connections, and he comes to know that good labor is available in Dubai. So he will outsource that as a service to Dubai laborers who are good in assembly line production. So that's how we will do. And similarly, not only labor, it provides global talent pool. Means say some countries are good at providing CAE analysis services. Some are expert in NVH services. So companies can outsource their services directly to them. So why they do this? Because it is cost effective, as Naren told it. So the businessman in India, he cannot hire the Dubai workers for a full-time employee because it will not be profitable for him. What will be profitable is to outsource that services so that he can save a lot of cost. The third major reason is it helps them focus on core competencies. Now here I will take example of Tesla Motors, Tesla company. Their main product is electric vehicles. So say for instance, they came across a technology which can reduce their fuel consumption or electric power consumption by 50%. So they need to implement this technology in all their vehicles and launch them. So what they will do, they will move that their existing manpower to They will shift their existing power to developing this technology and implementing it in their vehicles. So that manpower which was initially working on routine tasks, those routine tasks will be outsourced to tier 1, tier 2, or even service provider companies. So it helps them focus on core competencies. That's the point. The fourth major benefit they get is speed and scalability. If customers of some companies, say Tata Group, the customers started demanding more and more cars. They means the demand grew in the market for Tata Motor cars. So the Tata Motors need to produce their vehicles in bulk. So outsourcing some of the non-essential services allows them to produce in bulk and even scale their company. So these are the four major reasons. I hope you have understood all of them. Naren actually clarified it, most of the points from this. So now we will go to basic framework for freshers. So in the first slide, as we saw, the tier 3 and service provider, they have a good opportunity or good chance to provide their expertise or give their support to OEMs and tier 1 companies, or OEMs can outsource their manpower from service providing companies, or even they can outsource their services like CAE analysis. So when a fresher is passed out from as a graduate, he can target these companies, that is service provider companies, because there is a lot of exposure from automotive domain. He can get a chance to work on NVH, either crash and safety analysis, durability analysis, whatever analysis occurs in automotive domain. So he has a good chance. So what strategy he can implement here is he can make a list of all the service provider companies in his hometown. Maybe say he want to work in a company which is close to his home. So he can list out all those service provider companies. After that, he can start connecting with professionals who are working in that industries through LinkedIn or some through website links, etc. So once it starts interacting with them, he will get to know, or he can basically increase his chances of getting a job in those companies, or he can continuously take a follow up with those people for any relevant opportunities. So that's why I had explained this tree to you. So this is the basic framework for freshers, which I'm currently seeing right now in the market around me, and what my friends are doing, what currently passing out engineers, they can approach with this framework. That is, first is approach service provider companies, then gain experience and knowledge. That is, work for say 1 or 2 years until they gain some experience in a particular domain in that industry, service provider industry. And once they get the experience, they can transition to tier 1 or OEM companies. It is a very exceptional case. If you are passed out from IIT or NITs or some well-reputed college, then actually you can get an opportunity to directly work in OEMs or tier 1 companies, because such companies, they recruit from campus interviews from such NITs and IITs. So, but it is an exceptional case. Even if you are not an IITian, you can follow this path. That is, service provider companies, work there for 1 or 2 years and transition to tier 1 or OEMs. While working in service provider companies, many of them even send their employees on site to MNCs or OEMs. So in that way, they have also good opportunity of getting an exposure or of what is happening in the OEM, how the workflow happens, how the process takes place, how to interact with customers and all, etc. So if he gains that exposure for say 1 or 2 years, it will be much beneficial. And again, he will increase his chances of working for an OEM, because OEM will prefer such people who already have such experience. So I hope if there are any freshers, I know there are also, this is a mixed kind of audience. There are also experienced people who already know this path, and there are also fresher people, fresher mechanical engineers. So I suggest them to take notes, because it will be easy for you to refer afterwards. Okay, so we shall move to next slide. So these are some domains in CAE that if you are interested, you can gain expertise and start building your career in those domains, like durability, crash and safety, NVH, CFD, thermal engineering, optimization, MBD or multi-body dynamics. So these are all applicable to all domains, means durability or NVH, that is noise, vibration and harshness, or crash and safety. These are all applicable for automotive industry as well, for consumer goods, for defense domain, etc. So these are the domains which you can choose as to focus on and to start building your career. Now we come to the main part, that is steps to become a CAE engineer, or the exact path how to proceed. Many people have asked me on LinkedIn as well. So you are here, let me take you through it quickly. The first step is gain a fundamental understanding of engineering subjects. Now I have dedicated a separate slide for this step. All other steps are like in chronological order, which I will be explaining. But this step one deserves a separate slide, because as even we discussed previously with Sandeep also, that how basics are important in problem solving. So a sound understanding of basics can help you solve 90% or more than 90% of the problem in CAE, because all the remaining 10% is all like tinkering with the tools, interpreting the results, etc. And from a mechanical engineering point of view, you should be familiar or proficient with these topics which I have mentioned here. That is AppMech, numerical methods, solid mechanics, metallurgy, machine design, fluid mechanics, and even vibration basics. That is what is natural frequency, what is resonance, etc. So if you are a civil engineer and you want to make a career in CAE, then these topics will be totally different. Maybe some might be common as well. So this is the first step to gain a fundamental understanding. Without this step, without this crucial step, never proceed to next step. That is which I will take now. Learn CAE software, but first choose a domain. Once you are familiar, once you are proficient with basic fundamentals, then you can start with CAE software. But again, you cannot learn all the softwares. There are many CAE softwares existing today on CAE in the world. You cannot say like you cannot choose any random software and become master at it, because each and every software has a different purpose. That purpose will be defined by your domain of interest. Say for example, I'm interested in crash and safety domain. So, or sitting domain or sitting product. As a product, I'm interested in sitting analysis. So I will first master the fundamentals which are required in sitting or crash and safety, like conservation of momentum, concepts of statics and dynamics, stress strain curve, theories of failure. Likewise, I will first master those concepts. After that, I will see which are the relevant softwares relevant to that domain, like crash and safety, which will be like PAM Crash, LS Dyna, Hypermesh. So I will start learning Hypermesh and LS Dyna right away once I choose a domain and I'm good at the basics. Okay. So then comes the third step, that is practice with sample problems. So there are websites like Altair, ANSYS, SimScale, and Simulia, where they have provided tutorials and basic case studies for some sample problems. So you can refer those case studies, refer that material, and do your own small mini projects, so that you get an idea about how the solver works, what is the work of the preprocessor, how to interpret results, etc. So you get a basic idea by practicing these problems. And again, this reminds me of one more thing I forgot to mention. While you are doing step one, that is you are mastering your basics, after mastering them, even try to solve some problems, because even if you are 10 years experienced person in CAE, even if you are 20 years person experience in CAE, you still require to do hand calculations. There are many CAE engineers in this session. You can even ask them if this is true, that you need to do hand calculations to verify the results, and like drawing a free body diagram, so that you get to know where the boundary conditions are applied and stuff like that. So that practicing is also important, and this practicing, that is after once you learn the software, once you are good with the basics, it's time to apply that knowledge by practicing with sample problems. Now the step 4 is gaining industrial exposure. So many times what happens when we are aware about what we can do with so and so software, we start doing analysis and we start to enjoying that stuff, so that, and we enjoy it so much, we start immersing ourselves in that learning process, and even do projects which are may not be required in the industry. So it is important to know what's going on in the outer world, what's going on in the industry, that you can know by attending seminars, workshops, webinars, or conferences by industry professionals. There are many conferences like Altair conference or Dyna conference, which occur every 4 times in a year. So you should stay updated on when the next conference will be. Go and attend that event. Take down notes of various speeches from industry professionals. Try to meet them and gain an idea about what's going on in the industry. What are the latest developments and what things are already outdated. So that will give you a good idea. Then the next step will be join professional organizations or communities. In our daily life, we have joined lots of groups. Say, for example, I'm interested in football or I'm interested in crash analysis. So I will join those groups on WhatsApp. They are like basic communities where I can interact with like-minded people who are also interested in football, so that we can plan things like when should we play the next match, when should we plan the next tournament, or if I came across any error, I can post it in that group, WhatsApp group. So these are nothing but communities. So similarly, there are professional organizations or communities which are made only for engineers. It is like SAE is one community, that is Society of Automotive Engineers. Then there will be MSME, ASME, Society for Mechanical Engineers. Likewise, you can search them on Google and start joining those organizations, attending their events, connecting with those people. Then the next step, that is sixth step, is gain practical experience by working on projects. So this is the step which is has a lot of importance in CAE domain, because even if you practice all this, even from step 1 to 5, you are expert in all these steps. You have gained everything, learned everything, but still you have not got that industrial exposure. You have not worked on some real world project. Then this knowledge means nothing. So it is important to do some internships. Seek out opportunities in the market, connect with people through these organization or communities, and ask them directly if you have any relevant internship opportunities. Grab that opportunity, do an internship for say 3 to 4 months. During that internship, learn whatever you can, because I also went through same phase. Me and lots of my friends who recommended me that path, I went through internships. I got some basic knowledge. I worked on real world projects, because what happens when you work on a real world project, you come to understand customer's point of view, what he expects from us, from our project. And you also get to learn some soft skills, like how to interact with customers. That will just add as a value. It will be adding value to your portfolio. Now the next step, that is step 7, is pivotal. This step can be pivotal in your career. That is network with the right people. Uh, if you have right people around you, if you are in environment with the right people, then you will get opportunities. uh, Means you are likely to get more opportunities. We have various platforms like Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, so you can utilize those platforms and start connecting with people in the industry. You can search for who all are CAE engineers in my field, who all are working in the crash and safety domain. Start connecting with them, and along with that, also start connecting with HRs or human resource people on LinkedIn belonging to that company, so that whenever they will post any relevant requirements or openings in their company, you will come to know and you can apply it right away. And eighth step, that is keep learning and upgrade consistently. So it will never happen that you will master all the softwares existing in CAE and you will learn everything, every domain knowledge you will have. It will never happen, because CAE is a vast field and it is impossible to master every field. And it is a continuously evolving domain. So you also need to continuously upgrade yourself, stay in touch with what are the latest technologies that are coming, align your skill set with those in the market, so that you and your skills never go outdated. And while following all these 8 steps, make sure you are always in touch with the basics. That is the first step that I mentioned earlier. It happens that when we start learning some things and we go further, we tend to forget what we learned earlier. But in this case, you, even if you're doing any projects, even after, if you spend 10 years in CA, you will still need to stay in touch with the basics. I hope this clarifies to everyone. I hope this helps everyone. And another thing I would like to mention here is joining coaching institute worth it? So yes, if you join a coaching institute, this all these steps you will have to follow, but it will speed up your process, because you will come in contact with a lot of other professionals who are working in that field, who are senior personnel, who can guide you well. And there is a good learning environment in coaching institutes. And Even you get a mentor who can guide you, and he knows where you are going wrong and how to bring you on track. So I'm not advocating that you should join coaching institutes. I'm not advocating any coaching institutes, but it they act as a catalyst when you're on your path to become a CAE engineer. So that's it for all the 8 points. I hope you have understood all these 8 points, and we will, if you have any questions in your mind and you want to ask, then we will reserve some slot like 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the session where you can ask those doubts. So right now, just note them down. I can see some hands raised, but we can take them at the end also. Okay, so I hope you have understood all the points that I have mentioned. If you have understood, then you can comment yes in the comment box, or Y. You can simply put Y in the comment box, chat box.
Yes. Guys, start putting why if you understood the steps.
Or do you want me to repeat any point?
Yeah,
So that I will know.
definitely. Looks like right now it's going very well. Everyone is saying yes and why. But still, I'm getting only 5 to 6. Why not everyone is participating? Participate, guys. It doesn't take very much time to say why. Yeah, out of 20 people, there are only 5 yes.
Okay. So till here, I am hoping it is clear to everyone. Now we will move to our next phase, that is common misconceptions about CAE. So people generally, when they are not aware about the field about CAE, they usually hear things from others, and when they hear anything, they directly believe it. Like, say, if your neighbor said you need to do a lot of mathematics, otherwise you cannot be good at CAE, or someone says you need to learn a software, you need to have software proficiency. If you have that, you are a CAE engineer. So let me bust or debunk some common misconceptions about CAE that people have. The first is computers do everything. So this is not the case. Computers are like calculators to solve all the complex stuff or complex equation in the background. CAE requires a human brain to solve problems. And by human brain, I mean he requires all the basic knowledge, fundamentals in step one that I mentioned. He should have engineering judgment, and he should have decision making ability. So by combining all these skills, he can be a good problem solver. And computer is just a part of it. It is just a tool for EA engineers to like accelerate their process of problem solving. So the next misconception is learn software and become a CAE engineer. So as I said, choosing a domain and having proficiency in the fundamentals. These are the basic prerequisites before learning any software. And I hope you have already understood it, why choosing a domain is important. Learning a software will only make you a tool operator. As my mentors, I have got good mentors. So I learned this very early on, that why choosing a domain is important. And software is just a tool. It's not like you press some buttons here and there, the computer does everything and you directly get the output. This is not the case. The third misconception is CAE and simulation are the same thing. So again, I would say simulation is like visual representation, or you can say visualization of the results or the animation. It is just a small part of the whole process. The whole process of CAE revolves around pre-processing, analysis, post-processing, and again report preparation. So simulation is a part of post-processing, we can say, where you get to see the results, where you get to see how the component will behave under some set of applied load conditions. You can judge if the deformations are going right as you expected, or if the component is behaving as you expected as per the boundary conditions. So many people, what they come across posts on LinkedIn where they see colorful animations of a car getting crashed on a wall, or aerodynamics of a car or aeroplane, something stuff like that they come across, and they directly judge and decide, yes, this is CAE, this is simulation, and I want to make a career in that. So before making any snap judgments, I would suggest first understand the whole process of CAE. Then the fourth misconception that people have is you need to have a master's degree. I have come across these misconceptions a lot of times in my career so far. So let me clarify. If you are having a master's degree, then it is a plus point. I'm not denying that you shouldn't have a master's degree, but if you are having it, then it is good because some companies, some OEMs even prefer such candidates who have a degree of MTech, because what their perception is, if this guy is having MTech, he must be specialized in some particular domain, and if he is a specialized person, we can hire him to help us solve our problems in that domain, or debug some models, or come across any new challenges because he is an expert. So that is also correct, because such companies, they require quality of that type, but it is not a necessity. It is not necessary to do MTech in order to start a career in CAE. I also didn't do MTech. Even a lot of my friends, they are not MTech, and they are right now working in OEMs and tier 1 companies, MNCs in Pune. So it is not a necessity. You need to understand this. And the fifth misconception is you need to know a lot of mathematics. So now let me clarify this doubt with an analogy or with an example of a car and a driver. So imagine you are a driver, you want to drive a car from point A to B. So in order to drive, say, 10 kilometers from A to B, do you need to know how the engine is built, or how the powertrain system of the car interacts with the engine system? Of course not. You are a driver. Your job is to drive from point A to B. All you need to know are the traffic rules. So the mechanic should know how the engine is built, or how the powertrain, how various parts interact with the engine. Because if anything happens to the car, he will be repairing it, or he will be in maintenance person who will be operating that. So similarly, the driver in this case doesn't need to know how the engine works. Even the mechanic doesn't need to know how to drive a car, or he doesn't need to be a driver in this case. So similarly, now apply this analogy to CAE. Imagine a car as a CAE, the driver as a CAE analyst or a CAE engineer, and the mechanic as a software developer. So as CAE engineers, we are the end users. That is, we are using CAE to design something, to actually design some stuff. Whereas those who are mechanic, or those who are software developer, they require knowledge of mathematics, that like partial differential equations, matrices, and numerical methods, because they will be making that CAE software. They will be working on that software. They will be working on making that software better or fast, or improving that interface. So that is also a good career option. I don't disagree with that. It is also a good career option, and there are a lot of companies out there like Altair or Ansys, where they hire such engineers who know coding as well as uh, this mathematics. So they will hire such people. And but as a CAE engineer or as a driver, you are an end user. You need to use engineering knowledge to solve problems. So you don't, in this case, you don't need to know all the stuff. Just as a driver doesn't need to know how the engine works, you don't need to know how the software works in the background, because it is a job of a software developer, not yours. All you need to know is basic engineering concepts. So I hope these all these misconceptions are cleared now. You have got some clarity, and we are at the end of this presentation. So now we will be able to take any questions from the audience, or if you have any more doubts, you can ask me, or if I couldn't answer them, I will definitely uh, means get in touch, help you get in touch with the required person. Because say for example, you are asking me a doubt about CFD. I'm not familiar with CFD, but I can make you get in touch with person who is proficient in CFD. So yes, we are ready to take the questions. And let me tell you before that, the company where I'm working in, that is Reomold, we are service provider, and we mostly provide services in automotive domain. So if you are a fresher, or you are a graduate, or you are in final year of engineering, and if your university or college, if they are interested in CAE awareness programs to conduct in your college, or any trainings that need to be done to bridge the gap between academia and industry, so I would suggest you can get in touch with people at Reomold. You can ask your TPO or concerned person to get in touch with me, or any person in our company, so that we can arrange such a session. So that's it. So yes, Sandeep, over to you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was a great presentation, Abhinav, and I think all the things that I was about to ask in this session, you covered it all. The
Okay.
misconceptions, the steps, and the fundamentals specifically. I'm very much fan of fundamentals, and people should be familiar with fundamentals because yes, Abhijit, we are coming to the questions. Just give me 1 minute. CAE and CFD difference. That's good. So what generally happens, Abhinav, is that fundamentals people forget at the college level, and then when they prepare for it, they just repeat that, and again when they get into the jobs, they again repeat that. So
Mhm.
grasping the going into deep and grasping the fundamentals is a very important thing. Like I told you about my stress thing. So that is the problem that's currently going on, and very much because you can't take risk in the when it comes to the industry. A lot of money has been invested in that company.
Yes,
You
right.
can't have people who is not very good in fundamentals, right?
Yes.
So that's why people should be very much good in fundamentals at least in the first page. And can you tell us a little bit in very short about My Physics Cafe before we get to the questions? How you started this journey of My Physics Cafe, what you are doing with it, and you are doing good on LinkedIn at the case of CA.
Yes, thanks for the compliment, Sandeep. I would briefly introduce My Physics Cafe is a platform through which I am providing like technical blocks. Through technical blocks, I am able to explain all the physics concepts or fundamentals of physics through blocks, which are uh, basically stories or case studies from real world. So my intention wasn't really to start any website initially. I enjoyed writing, and so I started step by step to write some blogs. And even my previous company, they required some technical content to showcase on their company page. So I took that opportunity and started writing. Then I understood that if I'm good at writing, I should start something of my own so that it will be the brand can resonate with budding mechanical engineers who need to use basic concepts of physics in CAE. So in that direction, I started going. And very recently, I have even started a blog series called CAE Compass. I had posted about it on LinkedIn. It is like it can help you. These blogs can help you to navigate the world of CAE, because in CAE there are lots of concepts and it is hard to link each and everything with every other aspect. So these blogs will help you do that. These blogs will simplify your understanding of the CAE field. And these blogs are based on experiences. Not They are not just written by researching some article on internet or by referring some books. This is not a book knowledge,
That's very
it is
that's
experiential knowledge.
obviously, and that's very much required actually.
Yes.
Insights of the industry very much required. We are also very much very soon starting a whole campaign on industry insights where we will be talking to the industry professionals and getting to know them, because there is a large gap of exposure between the
Mhm.
students or the early stage professionals. Because middle level professionals get an idea very well, but the recent graduates, the college students, they don't have the idea of what's going on in industry. That's why they left behind. What's happening in industry is very much different from what they are expecting that this will be happening, right? So yes,
Yes.
we are going to be in this session, and yes, very much questions are coming.
Okay.
So yeah, you can start, answering. I think you will have a lot of questions today.
Yes, that will be good because interaction is always good.
Yeah.
First question I can see here: can you tell the difference between CAE and CFD? So actually, CAE is the main parent field. It is not like CAE and CFD are two different fields. Under CAE, there are various other fields like FEA, CFD, embedded durability, and optimization. So CFD is a branch of CAE because both work on numerical methods. You can say reframe the question as what is the difference between FEA and CFD. FEA generally belongs to structural mechanics problems like structural analysis of components, say crash analysis or even linear static analysis or load application analysis of material handling equipment, something like that. And while CFD deals with all like fluid mechanics, fluid dynamics, even some thermal problems come under CFD. So this should clarify your doubt, I guess. So next question is, how can someone transition from design engineering with a 1 year experience to CAE or simulation engineering or CFD engineering? Okay, so the basic framework that I mentioned earlier, that is, first of all, follow those 8 steps. while following those 8 steps, think about how you can follow that framework which I had shared earlier. That is, first see for service providing industries, and you can look for any opportunities which are for freshers. It is not like that freshers are not allowed in service industries. Actually, lot of service industries today are looking for freshers because they require that talent. They require fresh talent to help them. So make a list of service companies, as I said earlier, and start approaching those companies if they have relevant openings for freshers. Even if you are a design engineer, you can. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you cannot make a career or make a transition from design to CA. You can always do that. So basic funda is that only, that you should come in contact, start coming in contact in order to increase your opportunities. So these strategies that I have shared earlier, they will help you to do that. Exactly that. So the next question I see is, I'm working in home appliances domain in drop impact analysis. Can you suggest me how I can switch to automotive domain in crash? So let me tell you, if you're not aware, that all these crash analysis, drop analysis, impact analysis, or shock analysis, all these types come under non-linear dynamic analysis. So you are already working in non-linear dynamic analysis. All you have to do is you have to perform a crash test. So you can practice, you can refer, there is a one website called dynamo.com where they have provided the case studies and even what all the cards you require to give, what all the boundary conditions you require to give. They will provide you, there will be a model, downloadable model available in that website, or dynasupport.com. That is also a good website. You can download that ready-made model, use that model as a reference and replicate it in your own model. Say you got a model of some Ford car, you can replicate that model to Toyota car and apply those same boundary conditions and practice it like that given in the case study. So you can do a crash, and once you are confident that you can do a crash analysis from scratch, that is from start to end, everything like pre-processing, analysis, post-processing. Once you are confident, you can add that as a project in your portfolio. And while applying, you can share that portfolio with recruiters or industry personnel. Can you name a few companies where a fresher to CAE field can start? So as I said earlier, service providers are low hanging fruits for graduates or who are starting as a new people in CAE. So target those service industries. Tier 1 also you can target, but there are very less chances because as I mentioned earlier already, what they prefer. So please conduct more session like this, it will be useful. Yes, definitely, Tanuj. Can CAE engineer can do the freelancing? I'm not aware about this much, but he can do freelancing. But what company sees when they give any project to freelancers, they will look for if that freelancer is having license of that software. If it is a crack version, they will not trust you and you will not get the projects as a freelancer. So that what I know, I told you. Apart from that, it's little bit difficult. But if you have expertise and license, it will be easier. And if you have some reputation in the industrial market, industrial domain, say you have some 5 to 8 years experience, you have a lot of people in your contacts who can give you some flow of projects, and you have a license and you have expertise, then yes, you can do freelancing. Can you please share few sources where can we learn different softwares like LS-DYNA, Abacus, ANSYS, etc. So Abacus and ANSYS, they are possible to learn from their websites alone. They have provided lots of material on their website. But in case you are still not, it's still not enough for you to learn, or it's not making any, you feel that it's not making any sense, you can go to platforms like YouTube. There are a lot of channels available where they teach CAE from scratch. And I have made a separate post or separate article on that in CAE Compass, where I have given 12 free resources for CAE engineers. And in those free resources, I have mentioned those YouTube channels which you can follow. I will share that link afterwards in that WhatsApp group so that you can start reading and start referring them right away. And apart from that if you want to still gain some expertise in LS Dyna or say Abacus, then only option is either you can join a coaching institute who provides us trainings, or you can learn it from senior person in your company. Otherwise, it's not possible to learn on your own. So either you get in touch with senior professionals who can teach you that kind of stuff, who are willing to spend their efforts, spend their time to make you understand each and everything in that software. So that's it. Can you please keep website links now? You just said where we can see FEA blogs. You can do one thing. You can visit myphysicscafe.com if you are eager to go there. Go to myphysicscafe.com. There you will see lots of categories. In that category, you need to go to resources. And when you go to resources, the first block that will come up is 12 free resources for CAE engineers. So I hope that helps. What is the range of salary that CAE analysts can earn at entry level, mid level, and senior level? What are some highest packages in this field? So I'm glad you asked this question. I was waiting for this question since a long time. Before COVID, the situation was not so good for CAE engineers. The packages were very much low, but after post COVID, the market began to boom. Even now also CAE, there are lots of openings in CAE, and you can see lots of openings even on LinkedIn. So they are even offering higher packages. They are trying to replicate the IT culture, because what's happening is lots of people are migrating from CAE to IT because of good culture, good facilities, or good packages. But now CAE industry professionals started to know that this thing is happening. So we also need to upgrade ourselves. We also need to treat employees well. So now they are also providing good packages. So I have already noted down these points. For freshers, the companies offer packages like 3 to 5 lakhs per annum. It can go to 6 lakhs per annum also. For freshers, I'm saying, who are directly joining tier 1 companies or even service providers. And I have gathered this data from lots of, by getting in touch with lots of my friends. Even in my company also, I see lots of examples. And this package thing actually also depends on various factors, like what is your educational qualification, how expert are you using in particular software. If you are a fresher and you are already familiar with solvers like OptiStruct or LS Dyna, then it will be only a plus point for you. You will get you can negotiate for a higher salary. So it depends on such factors. What all knowledge you already have, how good are you with the basics, how is your problem solving skill, what all additional certifications you are having, can you handle pressure, and how you handle parallel projects, how you handle complex projects, how you interact with the customer. If you are having good communication skills, if you have all of this, you can always ask for higher package and you will always get it. The range is 3 to 5 LPA, 3 to 5 lakh per annum, or even 6 lakh per annum. For 2 to 3 years experience person, the package range is 5 to 7 LPA or lakhs per annum, 5 to 7. For 4 to 8 years of experience, it is 8 to 12 LPA. And for 10 plus years experience, you might have noticed what I said just now. As the experience goes on increasing, the package goes on multiplying. So for 10 plus experience, it will be 12 to 15 lakhs per annum. And as I said, it depends on a lot of factors. One of my friend who works in an MNC in Pune, that company initially was offering less packages, but post COVID they are offering GET. Those who are joining as a GET, they are offering those GET 5 lakh per annum right now. So it also depends, varies from company to company, how that company, who are their clients, or their brand reputation in the market. Okay, so sir, also does learning to write subroutines in ANSYS or Abacus help someone stand out when he's trying to shift his domain from design to CAE? So Rakshit, can you please simplify what do you mean by subroutines? Because I'm not familiar with this term in ANSYS or Abacus. Basically, I work in LS Dyna and Hypermesh for automotive domain. Abacus I have used for some small or beginner level projects only. I'm not much familiar with Abacus. So if you could please simplify that. What do you mean by subroutines in Abacus or ANSYS? Then it will be helpful for me to answer that question. Otherwise, you may, if you feel awkward, you can get in touch with me later. We can discuss this in person as well. But if I'm not familiar with Abacus or ANSYS, I will help you get in touch with that required person. So I may, he may be able to guide you better. Which skills are needed for a fresher? Which skills are needed for a fresher? So if you have gone through this presentation that I shared, if you listened it attentively, I have already mentioned those skills. If I repeat again, it will consume a lot of time. So again, if you have missed those points, I would suggest again you go to myphysicscafe.com. There is one blog article on career roadmap for CA. In that blog article, I have mentioned these points, so you can read those, so that you can get an idea. And even if you have missed this, I think Sandeep will be recording this session and it will be aired on YouTube some few days, so you can watch it again. Not an issue.
Okay, Abhinav. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you very much. And I want that everyone, if it's possible, everyone can open their video so that we can take a group picture and celebrate the success of this whole session. This whole session was too much engaging and productive, and I think it must have helped you a lot in deciding for your careers and everything. For various of the questions that you asked, Abhinav, your engineer is building a professional network for engineers and engineers from each and every background. So anything related to whether it's CAE, CFD, simulations, whatever softwares you have mentioned, whether it's LSDANA for CFD, then it can access Fluent, it can be Star CCM, or anything open form for the thermal simulations, for structural simulations, for each and every level of engineering, each and every discipline of engineering, we are developing a whole professional network. And that professional network will be helping every student or every professional. That's why I generally started a poll also, that how many of you are entry level or senior professional or mid professionals, because the whole ecosystem of engineering must be organized at one place. It's not like that. Suppose the problem of CAE or the problem of CFD or the problem of like design or simulation, each and every industry is so much disorganized. I mean, one industry doesn't know about another industry. So in the whole of the ecosystem of each and every discipline, each and every software, each and every technology, each and every industry will be collaborating in the same thing. So that's why we are having this career fusion event also, where we were doing a lot of things related to career. Various employers participated to give the jobs, and premier issues like IIT Hyderabad, IIT Roorkee collaborated with us, and their students also got the jobs and internships with this career fusion. And I hope many of you, if you have joined this thing, then definitely you will be getting certainly know someone of you know who gives training of ANSYS for the C possible. Guys, we will be talking in the group. Okay, the group will be open for all, and very soon we will be moving to your engineering communities also, where we will be making communities for everything that I mentioned. So that stay in touch with your engineer. I think Sanjeev might be sending you the links of the social media and your engineer so that you can sign up for that. And very sessions are coming on, like from I'm just saying this, Professor Mayank Srivastava from IISc is also going to join. Various professors from IISc, IITs, and from Harvard, from Stanford, from Harvard Innovation Labs, various industries and top institutions will be joining for R&Ds, right? So to discuss on R&Ds, to discuss on various industry level topics, we will be inviting various people, right? So don't worry about anything. Every knowledge will be provided on your engineer. And Abhinav is a writer at your engineer. He's a creator. He creates various blogs on your engineer. He has created 3 to 5 blogs, I think. And he is a regular contributor at your engineer, right? You will have more sessions with Abhinav also, so that you can gain insights. This session was more and more focused on the career side, I think. Abhinav, let's do some day software side. And then, various other levels where we can be connecting that particular audience.
Yes, yes, sure. And I would like to also thank you for providing me this opportunity to speak on this platform with so many like-minded people. Actually, it was my first time to speak in such an online event. So now, after this, I know how it works. So now I can conduct my own online virtual events. So that gave me this confidence.
I think you were very great. And everyone engaged very well. You answered all of the questions very patiently. So it was very great to have session with you. Guys, I'm asking again to open up your videos so that we can take a group picture. Is it possible? I think it's possible. It will be very good. This video will also be
Yes.
going on YouTube tomorrow.
It doesn't matter how you look, or don't worry about how you are
Everyone might be
current.
sitting
It
on
doesn't
chairs
matter.
or on the bed. Yes, exactly. Right? Can we open the picture? I think people are very talented. but
Even
shy.
I would like to share that this is a very good initiative you are doing, that career fusion event, so that people who are not aware about industrial practices, they are getting to know what actually is working in the industry. So this
Yes.
is a great initiative,
Thank
and
you, Abdullah. Thank you very much.
I'm grateful for being a part of this.
Thank you very much. Very soon we will be running various campaigns on industry insights for startup campaigns, technologies, everything related to engineering will be discussed at your engineer, right? So stay in touch with your engineer. I think very few cases are there. Can we open the camera just for 2 to 3 seconds? We will grab the picture and then you can turn off the camera. Thank you very much. Can we open it for 2 to 3 seconds only? I think everyone is opening. Yes, yes, yes. Don't worry about this thing. It's a very collaborative meeting. And I think various people like Rakshit had asked a lot of questions, Santosh had asked a lot of questions. Tanuj was also asking. Yes, various people were asking. Great, great. Okay, so I'm taking a picture. Let's take one more. If you guys can open up the cameras. Okay. Okay, let's go. Thank you very much, Abhinav. And thank you very much, guys, for joining this session. Okay, stay in touch in the WhatsApp group also, with your engineer also, and follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. Definitely follow us on LinkedIn if you are on LinkedIn, because we do post a lot of things on LinkedIn and a lot of blogs on LinkedIn, so that people get to know about each and every aspect of engineering. And one thing I can understand, Abhinav, that IT shift that you are mentioning, yes, that's happening. Various people are getting good jobs in IT. That's why the core engineers from mechanical, civil, electrical, electronics, they are shifting towards IT. And that's why the industry, heavy industries or core industry, infra industry, they are paying high salaries now. And they will be paying high salaries, right? Because they have to also sustain. When they will sustain, that's why you will sustain, right? Everyone is in the ecosystem. It's not like someone is dependent. It's interdependency. Right.
And yes, unless people understand that product development is also a very interesting field, they will, once they understand this, and all the inside out things, they will start believing, and they will start taking interest in this field. Because mechanical engineering, people like Leonardo da Vinci, those were mechanical engineers.
Yes,
So
yes.
you can just get an idea how great this field is, mechanical engineering.
Exactly. Just go into the deep, right? Thank you very much, Amna. Thank you very much, everyone. You guys were the great audience today, and it was a very insightful and engaging session. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you everyone for making this session great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. That was great. Thank you for the cheers.